everybody, welcome to part 39 of our Clone Wars rewrite. We are currently rewriting the character of Ahsoka Tano, and in this video we'll be focusing on Season 5, Episode 7, A Test of Strength, where Ahsoka, Khalifa, and Jinx must rally their efforts to defend the younglings after a malfunction leaves them all stranded in pirate territory. So, for this episode, Ahsoka is put in sole charge of a group of younglings. Literally no one else accompanies them, no other junior or senior Jedi, not even pilots for the ship. This makes very little sense, but of course the writers do this to make Ahsoka seem like a mature authority figure. It's very telling that the writers felt a need to put Ahsoka by herself in order to make her look good, since whenever there are others of authority around, her behavior is typically awful. After being forced to hide from pirates, Ahsoka loudly shushes the already quiet younglings, who are like less than 10 feet away from her, when the pirates are practically right over her head. She then gives a noisy speech to her charges about how they need to have courage. Maybe you should forget about courage and consider silence instead. Right before fighting Hondo, she does the same arrogant lightsaber pat that she did in Season 2, Episode 11, Lightsaber Lost. And again, pride cometh before a fall. Last time she just lost her lightsaber, this time she's captured. Ironically enough, the opening quip for this arc is that children are often underestimated. And what does Ahsoka do? She underestimates the children. Reminder, it wasn't that long ago that Ahsoka was still young enough to be considered a child herself, and we all know how much she hated it whenever people dared to underestimate her. So this is yet another example of Ahsoka's hypocrisy. Furthermore, she gets annoyed with the younglings when they're frightened and asking a lot of questions as a result. Instead of prioritizing the safety of the children and trying to negotiate with Hondo as would be befitting for a Jedi, Ahsoka immediately goes the route of violence and quickly escalates the situation. And what makes it all the more laughable is that Ahsoka then tells Hondo that she doesn't want to hurt him.
Boy, this was a real gem of an episode.
I mean, they all are.
Yeah, true.
Let's not kid ourselves. The young are often underestimated. I don't have a quote. I have a quote! Light travels faster than sound. This is why some people appear bright until you hear them speak.
Oh, that's gold. Okay.
An ancient Jedi ritual where each youngling must harvest a crystal around which they will construct their own lightsaber. Along the journey, they underwent great perils, hardest of which was to face themselves. Now, having passed the test, they take their first step into a larger world.
It really is completely unnecessary. Give that whole recap.
But the audience is stupid, remember?
No, but I mean, like, in a sense, that episode is standalone.
Yeah,
Like,
it pretty much is.
It doesn't affect this episode at all, except that,
They got
this
their
is why
crystals.
the younglings are on a ship, traveling back to Coruscant, making lightsabers. But, like, the actual content of the episode, the trials, everything like that, like, that has no bearing on this. So I feel like the narration really should have just been more about, like, oh, you know, these younglings have gotten their kyber crystals and are heading home while making their lightsabers, kind of like, just like set the stage of this episode. Like, that should be the focus of that narration. That's most of the time what it does, is it sets the stage for what we're about to see. In arcs, it will have like a bit of recap, but more often, like, it's all about setting up what we're about to see. And here it's all about last time on TCW.
Yeah, true.
Literally the last sentence, the step out into a larger world, literally doesn't tell us anything about, like, what is going on, why they are here. Like, it's completely disconnected. You could probably start the episode right here where we're about to start now, and you'd understand as much as if you had seen the recap. Like, it does nothing. But they have to have it because it's staple at this point.
Yeah, they could have used that a little better. Yeah, I don't know. How would you set the stage here without like giving too much away?
Well, like I said, right? Like, all you have to do is say, okay, last episode they collected their kyber crystals. Now they're heading home while building their lightsabers.
Yeah, I don't know. Would it be gripping enough? Like that would be my question.
If you said it the way I just said it, absolutely not. It would be the most boring thing in the entire world. But you dress it up, you throw that narrator voice in there. Like, I mean, basically all he did was say, you know, last time the kids collected lightsaber crystals. But it was exciting to listen to because they, dressed it up and added exciting adjectives and
I never
threw in
find the
voice.
opening narration to be particularly exciting. If I'm honest, half the time I just tune it out. I'm like, okay, let's get to the episode.
I guess I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone who's like, ooh, what's happening this week on TCW? Like he's got the vibe. He's got that like hype vibe. So like I'll grant them that. Even if it doesn't work on me, it's still doing what it's supposed to do. Crossed arms.
I call that move the Whirlwind of Destiny.
He's actually pretty good, not gonna lie. So we annexed Petro.
Yeah,
and
we
put in
replaced him with
Khalifa.
Khalifa.
And we annexed Biff and put in Jinx.
Show off.
Do we want to have Khalifa not necessarily showing off, but yeah, doing that practice and being really good at it? Someone could accuse her of being a show off without her necessarily intending to show off.
Yeah, because there is like that gap between her and the younger students. So she already has so much more experience than them.
She could even be doing it as kind of like, oh, watch this, like, learn this little bit from me kind of thing. So not wholly a, oh, I'm so good, look at me, but more of like a, hey, you want to learn something fun? Like, I wouldn't have Ahsoka cross her arms because I am just triggered by the arm crossing. But having her walk in and see Khalifa in a good mood and getting along with the others, like, I could totally see her like smiling at that. The clapping feels a little condescending. So, especially if you have Khalifa, who's older, in that role, so then I would nix that. But otherwise, yeah, because last episode we had ended it with Khalifa was feeling hopeful. She's happy. Nothing could possibly go wrong from here.
Of course not.
She deserves this, right? Things
Yeah.
are looking up.
Totally.
And we have nothing but happiness planned for her.
Yes.
May I introduce you to architect and lightsaber designer Huang.
Lightsaber is a Jedi's only true ally.
Shouldn't it be the Force? Again,
Yeah.
there's this like focus on the lightsaber as the be all end all. And it's like, no, it's the Force.
And like the other thing I was gonna say is like it still bothers me that Huang just shows up out of nowhere. Like, this must be the same ship that they came to Ilum on. Yeah, so like, was he just hiding out in the back of the ship somewhere the entire time that they were flying to Ilum? And now that he's needed, he just like comes out of the woodwork or something. I don't know. It's really weird. I wish I thought of that in like when we were doing the previous analysis, and then we could have at least like thrown him in there. But then yeah, we would have had to give him a proper introduction and everything.
Yeah, and it's also like they don't spend any time on the ship in the last episode. Like, we see them before they get on the ship in Coruscant, and then we see them getting off the ship in Ilum. It just kind of jumps over the actual transit time, which makes perfect sense. But yeah, if you were going to introduce Huang then, it would feel very forced, I think. So it makes sense to introduce him in this episode. I think part of the problem is that they're hanging out in this room that is adjoined to his little workshop thing here. So it begs the question, like, they were probably in this room before on the way to Ilum and they didn't see him, right? So it would make more sense if they were brought to this room, or that, like, the wall opened up, or like, one of those, like, window shutter thing, like that kind of thing gets like pulled up to reveal this extra area. And then you have the kids react like, whoa, I didn't know that was back there, or whatever, right? In the last episode, we had set up Yoda was with them, and then he had to leave. I forget if we had him leave at the end of the last episode or if we were going to have him leave at the beginning of this episode. Either which way, we have explained why Ahsoka is now alone in charge of the younglings. But it does still, like, do we want to have a pilot or something like that, and maybe they get killed during the pirate attack? Or do we want to just have it that it was just Yoda and Ahsoka and the younglings?
I think they show later that R2 was kind of in charge of piloting, which is weird.
You know what? Maybe we get rid of R2 then, because especially with Ahsoka in our version being like split up from Anakin, it wouldn't make sense for Anakin's droid to be with Ahsoka. So I'm thinking we put a pilot in there.
Could be on autopilot, because Star Wars has autopilot.
Yeah, this is true. Or we could just have like a droid pilot. Like that is its function, like it is solely a piloting droid. And maybe it just gets damaged.
Yeah, I think that would work best. But speaking of droids, I kind of want to go on a little tangent about Huang here, because, like, why does he exist in the first place? Like, I'm pretty sure it's not a normal circumstance for the master to be called away and the younglings to be left with an apprentice or by themselves or anything. This kind of thing, like teaching the younglings about the crystals and stuff like that,
how to construct the lightsaber. You'd think a master
left to a Jedi master. So why does he exist?
Especially since you'd think it's kind of like a sacred tradition, right? So then, yeah, why have a droid do it rather than it be something that's passed on from master to student?
You know, I'd almost argue that we just get rid of Huang and have Ahsoka show the kids like a pre-recorded holo of a Jedi talking about these things. Or like
it really would be
interactive holo. So like
because
it's a real
yeah,
Jedi, but it was the hologram was programmed with artificial intelligence to some extent, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like it could be Yoda even, like a previous class. And yeah, maybe the kids have a question that's not in the recording and Ahsoka's like, hey, we'll have to ask him later.
Or she
like, I don't know the answer to
Try
that
to
one.
answer it.
Well, yeah, we could have her answer a question and then like the next question she's like, yeah, I'm not sure about that one. So she knows stuff, but she doesn't know everything.
Yeah, I like that better because Huang is stupid. Let's get him out of here.
Sorry, Huang. Oh, one thing I mentioned, because he said that the lightsaber is the Jedi's only true ally, and I was like, not pretty sure it's the Force. Like, so it's weird that this robot, which has been apparently teaching all these Jedi, doesn't even understand like Jedi culture.
You have brought me crystals, but they're all useless unless you give them life. Do you know how to awaken the Force within the crystal? Describe what you see your saber to be. Ah, yes, wood. Not a common choice. Let me see. No. So let us begin. There is much more work to be done.
I mean, obviously, with having just a hologram, there would have to be big changes to that whole sequence. I would maybe have the kids express doubt, like, okay, well, how are we, like, because Ahsoka would be like, hey, it's time to learn to, construct your lightsabers. And they're like, well, Yoda's not here. How are we going to do that? And then she has to explain, well, we've got this and I'm here as well. Like, we'll figure it out together as best we can. And then the hologram could explain the whole, oh, crystals are useless unless you give them life.
They
And
already
I just,
have
like,
life.
I was gonna say, like, the lightsaber is the Jedi's only true ally, but you have to use the Force to awaken the crystal of the lightsaber. So wouldn't, I don't know, it'd be crazy to say, I don't know, maybe that the Force is the Jedi's only true ally? I'm unreasonably angry about this. So, and then he singles out the Wookiee. Again, obviously, if this was like a pre-recorded thing, then Yoda wouldn't be doing that. But you could have the whole, like, hold out your hands, concentrate on like what you see your saber to be, and then, I mean, we've already established that Ahsoka can understand Wookiee, so then when he asks for wood, then she could be like, oh yeah, that's not a common choice. And then she can be the one who's fiddling around in the drawers, like, oh, what's this? Oh, no, that's not right. Like, and then she finally finds it, kind of shows the kids, and it's like, hey, we can do this, right? So I do love the UFO shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's
I have always loved that. One thing we have criticized is the fact that, like, why aren't they traveling through hyperspace? Like, why are they flying along slowly, especially past Florum, which they know is pirate territory? My thought was maybe we have, I mean, because we have that pilot droid. What if we have the pilot droid malfunction?
So maybe
Okay.
like it's an old droid, but it seemed to be working well, and then all of a sudden
Okay.
it just gives out.
Would we want that to happen before the opening scene there of the starting their lightsaber lessons, or would we want that to happen like at the end of that and she gets like pulled away because like suddenly it's like, wait, why are we exiting hyperspace? We shouldn't be back yet. And then yeah, a brief scene of her in the cockpit, like, and the droid is kind of like and she's like, what is going on? Like, maybe she calms the kids and is like, hey, nothing to worry about, you just keep going through the lesson. I'm just gonna be working in the cockpit for a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't tell them what's going on. She's just like, nah, we're good. You just keep doing your thing.
The Jedi ship is right in front of us, sir.
I would have some sort of comment from them being like, oh, what's this? Because it just popped out of hyperspace. And then, yeah, he's identifying, oh, hey, that's a Jedi ship. It's like, ooh, a Jedi ship. Like,
I thought we weren't going to mess with Jedi anymore.
These aren't Jedi. My sources say they're just younglings headed.
yeah, see, this, again, it makes it even worse on the Jedi's part. Like, he knew they were coming. He has planned this attack. He had information saying, yes, they're just going to be lazily passing by you for no reason whatsoever other than plot. So I would have this be an opportunistic thing. Though, yeah, it begs the question, why would he go after the Jedi again unless he knew that it was a short-staffed youngling field trip kind of thing? Like,
Maybe he puts out feelers. So maybe he contacts the ship and he's like, hey, I see you're in trouble there. Because I don't think Ahsoka met Hondo before this.
Bounty Hunters, season 2. But she also would have heard about him from Anakin and Obi-Wan when they got captured with Dooku. You could maybe have it that she doesn't recognize his voice, or that maybe he uses a voice scrambler. So like he could hail the ship, "Hey, you seem to be dead in the water, like what's going on? Do you need help?" And then she's like, we're fine, everything's fine. How are you? I don't think she would just answer his questions. Like, I feel like she's a little more savvy than that.
I was kind of saying because, like, I really like the kind of dialogue where a character is, like, very subtly fishing for information. So they're asking questions that, like, almost seem unrelated, but with the answers they're getting, they're, like, piecing things together and stuff like that. And, like, I find that is so hard for me, personally, to write. Like, I tried to write a scene like that recently, and I feel like I did a really bad job.
Yeah, no, I can't say I'm very good at writing people being subtle either, because I don't tend to be very subtle myself.
No, I am not a subtle person. But that's what I kind of had in mind for, like, what Hondo would be doing here.
So we discussed it because we're like, okay, how do we have him know that it's a Jedi ship and also know that it's safe to attack this Jedi ship? So what we found out was that the ship they're on is actually kind of a one-of-a-kind thing. Like, according to Wikipedia, it's pretty unique. It is specifically for Jedi training, so younglings, stuff like that. So identifying the ship, which that is established in the Star Wars universe as something that they can do quite readily, they would be able to tell just from looking at the ship, identifying the ship, that there would be younglings on board. And he would probably already know the value that could be gained from stealing kyber crystals from lightsabers, and younglings are easier targets. So it would just come down to him trying to figure out, okay, what is the authority on board? Is it someone that we can take on? And so then, yeah, we would have him hail the ship using a voice modifier and do that kind of subtle probing. And basically, he doesn't know Ahsoka, but he would be able to tell from her voice that she's young. He would be able to tell from her responses that she's speaking with a lack of confidence, a lack of authority. She's kind of frazzled right now because she knows they're in a bad area. So she wouldn't be giving everything away, but she also wouldn't necessarily know that they are pirates, and he's acting like someone who might help. So then she's careful about how she answers, but not careful enough. And yeah, with Hondo being Hondo, he's able to glean enough to tell, okay, they're in trouble, and it seems like the only authority on board is a young person. In as far as he knows, maybe it's a knight, but it's not a master.
And just to clarify, because I actually forgot that they basically just met again in the Onderon arc, but since we're doing it out of order, that would not apply. There would be no familiarity there, because as far as we remember, like, they didn't even speak to each other back in Season 2 when they met on Volusia.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if they spoke to each other, but even if they did, like, they would have exchanged nothing more than a few words. Not enough for him to remember her. Not enough for her to really know him. And it's also like, this is Hondo. There is definitely a risk attacking a Jedi ship when he doesn't know for sure if there might be a master on board. But the reward is such that, I mean, if they attack and then it turns out there's a master on board and they can't take it, they can just retreat. right? He doesn't particularly care about his men, so if he loses some men, he doesn't care as long as he gets away with his skin intact. And so, based on what he's able to glean, it's worth taking the risk for the reward.
With this lightsaber, I'm going to challenge Obi-Wan Kenobi to a duel and kill Grievous.
You have inverted the emitter matrix, which will cause the power grid to backfire.
Okay, so we already established Huang is not here. Ahsoka's already in the cockpit trying to fix the ship, obviously. Petro annoys me so much, goodness gracious.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad we decided to replace him with Khalifa. So obviously Khalifa will not be going on like, I'm gonna challenge Obi-Wan Kenobi to a duel and kill Grievous. Oh my goodness. None of that. There will be none of that. I think for later events, it would be a good idea to keep it that one of the kids ends up with
the inverted emitter matrix thing.
Inverted. Yeah, so some of the kids might be having some trouble. Khalifa and Jinx would obviously finish building their lightsabers first.
Particularly Jinx,
maybe
because he's done this
need
before.
A little guidance from him. I think
I have
Jinx would be experienced enough to identify an inverted emitter.
Yeah, no, that's fair, because, yeah, he has done this before. You could even have him make a comment like, oh, I did that, my first time, too.
What was that? I don't know. Hold on.
So we would have seen this earlier.
Yeah.
But it would just be them falling out of hyperspace at that point. It wouldn't be actually getting attacked yet.
I was wondering if it would work. Like, we could keep ending the scene the same way, where, like, the whole ship shakes because Hondo's attacking it, and maybe, like, one of the kids, or Cleaver or Jinx, are like, what now?
That could work. I guess I was thinking of ending the scene with the faulty lightsaber bit, and then we get back to the cockpit for this.
Oh no. They're aiming for the hyperdrive. Get us out of here!
We would keep it the same, that Hondo targets the hyperdrive, because that is the most sensible thing to do. You don't want your prey to get away.
We're being boarded. Quickly, give me your crystals and I will hold on to them until we are safe.
Like, Yuang isn't there, and I can't see why Jinx would be like, okay, give me your lightsaber crystal. Like, no, they keep their lightsaber crystals.
I mean, I guess somehow Huang knows they're being boarded.
Yeah, how would he know that?
He just kind of assumes, oh, well, if we're being boarded, then I should take the crystals because they might be stolen. And it's like, okay, well, if you're forcibly being boarded, then I guess that's a reasonable deduction to make. Like, take the valuable things and hide them. But wouldn't your first priority be to hide the kids? And if the kids are safe, then the crystals will be safe. So, like, and if you give up the crystals, then the kids will be safe. And the kids are more important than the crystals.
Oh, this is so
So it's like, if anything, you'd want to keep the kids safe by giving up the crystals.
Yeah, and again, like, that comes back to our point later, where Ahsoka, like, picks a fight, even though she could, like, just
try to
bargain
negotiate
for them to hand over the crystals and then get set free.
Perhaps we should hide in the ventilation shaft.
We should stand and fight.
We're gonna fight, just not the way they expect.
So, I would have Jinx suggest hiding in the vent shafts. And obviously, we would not have Ahsoka be like, oh yeah, we're gonna fight now.
Would we even have one of the people suggest, like, oh, we should fight? Actually, Khalifa, like, in the kidnapped arc, then Ahsoka's kind of the one who's like, we should fight. This is totally hypocritical of her. But in our version, she was less like that. So for Khalifa, right, like, she spent the kidnapped arc, surviving through running and hiding.
I think after Omer died, we kind of had her flip and be more action driven.
Because I think our thing was that, like, Ahsoka she wasn't running roughshod over them like she is in canon.
No.
But she was still like, no, we gotta do something. And then, yeah, I think we had Khalifa kind of take what in canon Jinx was like, where he's like, you know, like we should attack the base or what. Or no,
yeah,
no,
she wanted to go kamikaze.
Yeah, like if anyone was gonna suggest, no, we shouldn't run and hide, we should fight, I think it would be Khalifa. Because Khalifa and Jinx and Ahsoka, of course, have a history. So if Jinx is like, oh, we should hide in the ventilation shafts, then I think, yeah, Khalifa would be like, you know, oh no, like, you mean just the younger kids, right? Like, we're gonna fight, right? And then, yeah, maybe we have Ahsoka be like, nope, we're all gonna hide until we can kind of figure out what's going on and what we can do.
Hondo says find the kids and bring them to him.
Dead or alive?
Yes.
We must have courage, young Jedi. Gnodi and Zat, I need you to get to the cockpit, find R2, and secure it. The rest of you, take Professor Huang and seal yourselves inside the hold.
I mean, obviously we wouldn't have Ahsoka being loud when they're right overhead. But then the thing is, yeah, she's like giving these kids, like, oh, you have to secure the cockpit. It's like, why didn't you secure the cockpit? You were just there.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
You could have just used the intercom to be like, hey, kids, get in the hold and seal yourselves inside. Because, yeah, she's like, find R2. It's like, you were just with R2. You know exactly where he is. Why do we have to find him? What if we say she's already fixed the pilot droid, basically just as Hondo started his attack? So then it doesn't come online until they're being fired at, and then she's like, go, 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 and it's like, I'm sorry, the hyperdrive is malfunctioning. So then she secures the cockpit when she leaves. Maybe while they're in the vent system there, yeah, they overhear the pirates saying something. I wouldn't... Hondo says find the kids and bring them to him. Dead or alive? Yes. Wouldn't that conversation have already happened before they even stepped onto the ship? Why? Like, literally the only reason that conversation is held right above their heads is so that they are filled in on what's going on. So I probably wouldn't have that. But, like, I would have Hondo name dropped for sure. And maybe you could have them say, well, you know, where do you think the kids are? Right? So that we can establish, you know, Hondo's the one in charge, and the kids know they're the target.
I'm going to reroute enough power to the engines so that we can break free of the pirate ship's hold on us. What about the pirates already on board the ship? Once the docking tube is ruptured, when the ships pull apart, a vacuum will be created, which will suck the pirates off our ship and into space.
Yeah, I'm kind of all for, like, cutting that.
Yeah, like, I would certainly have her be like, okay, you know, you guys get to the hold. Do we want to have it that Ahsoka doesn't leave the cockpit and then go back to the cockpit? Because I think how they communicate later, don't they use wrist comms? Or are they always using the intercom, but like it's to a specific room?
I think they use the intercoms, but they communicate with Ahsoka's wrist comm.
So then we just have her stay in the cockpit, and she's like, you know, you guys gotta get to the hold, and then they're trying to get to the hold, but then the pirates board, so they quickly jump in the vents, and then we can just have it that Khalifa and Jinx have wrist comms or something.
It would make sense for Jinx to have one, because he's a Padawan like Ahsoka.
Yeah, so she contacts him and is like, hey, I need one of you to reroute power to the engines.
If we make it that Khalifa is not a techie person, so yeah, maybe she is the one who messes up her lightsaber, and then it would make sense for her not to be the one to go reroute power to the engine because she's not techie. Jinx is the one who goes instead.
Okay. And then Cleve is like, okay, I guess that leaves me to get these kids to the hold. And like, I wouldn't have her be begrudging about it because it's like she would rather be fighting, but like she's gonna take care of other people first, right? Like, I mean, that's what she did on the island.
She is very much a protector character.
Absolutely. So yeah, she wouldn't be begrudging about it at all. Like, she would have suggested, hey, maybe we should fight and like the kids can go to safety. And then, but yeah, when it reaches this point and it's like, okay, these kids need somebody to help them. Like, cause I would have it that, yeah, the kids are kind of scared and she can see that. And so then she's kind of like, okay, my goal right now is to get these kids protected and then I can go and help fight. Did you see that? So when he's in the vents, you can see through the vents above him and there's no one there. And then as soon as he lifts the vent, there's pirates everywhere.
They're magically appearing pirates.
Magically appearing pirates.
Magical pirates. What if they get caught not because they come out, but like, so they're crawling along there and smoke is filling the vents and Jinx is like, hey, don't breathe it in, like cover your mouths. But one of the kids accidentally breathes some in anyway and they start coughing. And the pirates hear that and pull them out of the vents.
Okay. She sees the smoke and she's just like, well, I'll be fine.
It's not actually
holding my breath.
Too bad where she is here.
And it makes sense. Like, someone who's older is going to be able to go, oh, like, I gotta hold my breath and keep on going. Whereas little kids aren't as good at that. So, this is so dumb. Like, R2 draws attention. If he had stayed quiet, I don't think the pirate would have noticed. But then the other thing is like, yeah, Ahsoka just left the door wide open and is like, okay, guys, now you need to go back to that room that I just left, and you gotta go close the door.
Yeah, that is so dumb. I cannot believe we missed that all the other times we watched this stupid episode.
Unhand me, brigand!
Will help.
Do you recognize the line? This is...
Your emitter matrix is still inverted.
So,
I love how the pirates just stand there. Watch this kid put his crystal into his lightsaber and just stand there.
This is why it would work better for them to just have kept their crystals and lightsabers all along. So they don't even have to put it together.
But also, like, I wouldn't have one character say to another, like, oh, but remember, there's a problem with your lightsaber.
Especially with how we've changed it, that it would be a younger kid essentially telling off an older kid in a very tense situation. It would make even less sense. So yeah, nobody would say anything. Khalifa would just ignite her lightsaber.
I would maybe have the other kids react like, oh crap, like, doesn't she remember that her lightsaber isn't, like, put together properly? If anything, it would add to that tension. Like, the audience is also wondering, like, oh shoot, doesn't she remember? And then maybe, I don't know, because, like, when you have a character wink at another, there's always the question of, okay, nobody else saw that? Like, sometimes you can get away with it, but I don't think you could get away with it in this scenario because they are surrounded by the pirates.
Which one of you is first?
All bark, no bite. I always wanted one of these.
You sure you can handle it?
Everybody get down!
So, I would have it that she doesn't throw her lightsaber at him and hope that he doesn't hurt anyone when he swings it Oh, I would have it that she holds on to it until it's about to blow, and then she throws it at them. And so, like, yeah, she's kind of making a not necessarily an entire show, but like you know, she is kind of trying to get them to back up, get them to move off. But she also, like, she can't get too far away from the kids. If she gets too far away from the kids, then, well, the kids will just get snatched from behind her. But if she stays too close to the kids, then she's risking them getting hurt in the blast. Maybe she just tosses the lightsaber straight up and grabs the kids and shoves them down into the vents ahead of her. Because she has to hit the pirates on all sides. Do we want to have her maybe get a little singed from that?
Yeah, that would make sense.
And then they stop as soon as they turn the corner. I'm not mad.
We can keep running, or we can stand and fight and show these pirates we're not afraid.
It's our only choice. Fight or be killed.
Khalifa would not be telling the kids, yeah, you should fight. Like, she did that to get them out of there.
Get them to safety. Yeah, so they would reach the hold shortly thereafter, I'd say. Yeah, maybe it is just around the corner or whatever. She, you know, herds them inside, and then she's like, okay, you know, secure the door, and you know, don't come out until, you know, Ahsoka signals you or whatever. And they're like, well, what are you doing? Where are you going? And she's like, I gotta help. Or like, do we want to have her, like, give some speech about fight or be killed, or...
No, I wouldn't want her to give a whole speech about it.
A 2-minute monologue.
Nope.
Rallying herself to battle.
Yes, I'm sure it would be very inspiring.
Oh, yes. And then, yes, this would be Jinx here. That's literally, she just pushes some buttons and moves some levers. I do like that there, where she, like, uses the Force to, like, move the levers at the same time. Like, that is kind of a cool moment. Yeah. It's nice to see them actually using the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they never use it in combat. They just use it to, you know, push chairs and move levers, but, you know.
I am overriding the emergency power failsafe and routing energy to the engines.
It's working.
Any word from the others? Where are they?
I don't know. I didn't hear from them.
Great. I know what that means.
That can't possibly mean that they've been caught or hurt or in danger or anything like that after, you know, you had to escape from smoke filling the vents. No, that definitely has only one possibility. And you definitely need to roll your eyes and sound exasperated. Because, you know, you've never done anything like that.
No, she's a saint.
Mm-hmm. Holy moly, I didn't remember that they had a kid play bait. Yeah, and it's the kid who's, like, super, like, scared, too. Like, I guess he learned...
I mean, yeah, he did kind of overcome his fear in the last episode, but, like, still.
Still, I mean, like, thanks, guys.
So, yeah, we would have Khalifa setting up this trap and using herself as bait. She's not gonna bring a kid with her and risk them.
No, not in 100 years.
For the previous scene...
Well, it would just be Jinx talking to Ahsoka, so, like...
No, but I'm thinking of, like, the kids in the hold contacting Ahsoka and telling her, hey, Khalifa did not join us in here. She's going solo.
And so then Jinx is like, I'll go get her? Or do we want to have Jinx stay put and Ahsoka goes? Ahsoka's not going to be like, oh yes, I will stay here, we're in the cockpit where it's safe, even though Khalifa's, you know, putting herself in danger. Jinx, you go put yourself in danger too, and hopefully the two of you can fight off all these pirates. I think it would make more sense for her to say, no, you stay put. Because we had it that she was in the cockpit fixing the hyperdrive. Like, he could be like, hey, I just rerouted the power. She's like, great, like, I just fixed the hyperdrive. I'm gonna set the pilot to, to pull us away. Like, I'm just waiting to hear that the others have made it safely to the hold, and then, oh, that must be them. And then they're like, yeah, we're safe, but Khalifa, she went out. And she's like, oh, crap. So then she sets the droid, but she's like, okay, I gotta go get Khalifa, make sure Khalifa is secure before I prompt the droid to start pulling away.
But, like, would a droid even do that? Because I'd think a droid would have all sorts of security programming, and if it feels that it's, like, docked with a ship, then it's not gonna rip away, unless Ahsoka overrides the security programming. So yeah, maybe she overrides the security protocols, and then she sets a timer. So at the end of the timer, the droid will rip away from the other ship. And so she has a certain amount of time to go get Khalifa out of there.
Right. You know what? That would add good tension.
Zach, close the door to the trading room.
Hey, what's going on?
I would just have Khalifa use the Force.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I do love that scene.
It is a clever little trap. I do like that. Like, that's smart.
And it's also just hilarious.
They take a little too much joy in it, maybe.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking that.
Like, again, I can see Khalifa maybe smirking before running off, but, like, that's kind of dark for these kids.
There are too many blocking the hold.
Now, hand over my crystals, and no one gets hurt much.
Hondo, the Jedi Council will not take kindly to this attack.
Ahsoka. How will they know who is responsible if there is no one left to tell the tale?
So yeah, Khalifa sets that trap. She runs off. Shall we imply that she's, like, going to set another trap?
Yeah.
Because, like, she's not trying to go back to the hold after setting one trap. The other question is, though, because, like, if she knows that Ahsoka's plan was to suck all the pirates out when they pulled away from the ship, like, it would seem kind of foolish for her to be like, aha, I'm gonna set traps and, mingle with the pirates who are gonna get sucked out, rather than, getting myself safely into a secure area. So, let's maybe have it that Ahsoka doesn't explain the whole plan, like when she's talking to Jinx on the intercom, at least not when Khalifa's around to hear it. So she just tells him, hey, you gotta reroute power to the engines and get the kids securely into the hold. She doesn't say why. And so they just assume, okay, if you're secure in the hold, then the pirates can't get you. And then we'll deal with the pirates. And then it's not until Jinx reroutes the engine and contacts her again that she's like, okay, now, we're gonna pull away and suck the pirates off the ship. I just gotta make sure that everyone is secure. And then she finds out Khalifa's not secure. So then, yeah, Khalifa runs into the pirates here. She's, of course, unarmed because her lightsaber got kablooied. Then, yeah, Ahsoka arrives. Obviously, we would want to change her interaction with Hondo. I would still have her, like, I don't know, force push the pirates that she could out of the way to put herself between Khalifa and the rest of the enemies.
Aside from the names, the dialogue I think could stay the same. So, like, there's no sense of familiarity there. It's just, oh, the Jedi aren't going to take kindly to this attack, pirate. And Hando's like, well, how are they going to know? How are they going to know it was us, huh? There's going to be no witnesses.
You seem less hospitable than our last meeting.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I would probably have Ahsoka recognize Hondo, because even though it was a while ago, like...
He would have left an impression, yeah.
He would have left an impression on her. But obviously, he wouldn't know her.
Yeah.
So, and, like, I don't think I would bother to kind of have him be like,
Pause.
do I know you? Like, it wouldn't surprise him, probably, that, you know, they know who he is. So, yeah, she would say Hondo, but he wouldn't address her by name.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, because they haven't, like, this makes no sense in light of the fact that we don't have the Onderon arc coming before this, and that's what she's referring to here, so then that line would be gone.
My mood is based on profit. And today, I am in the mood for crystals.
You want the crystal?
I you know, segue into him saying that he's there for the crystals some other way, and then, yeah, we would have her try to negotiate with him.
Like a Jedi would.
Like a Jedi would. Or do we want to have it that Hondo, like, because there is no bargain to be had here. Even if you give me the crystals, I'm still gonna kill everybody. Because we can't actually have her, like, go and get the crystals from the kids. Like, she doesn't have time for that. Or maybe she's just stalling for time. He's already said, like, there's gonna be no witnesses. Or maybe we have her call him on that. Like, you know, he kind of says, you know, I'm here for the crystals, and she's like, well, will you give us our safety if we just give you the crystals? And maybe he kind of is like, oh, yeah, no, sure, I mean, you'd have to promise that you won't say anything, and then yeah, maybe Khalifa's the one. Because, like, maybe Ahsoka already kind of realizes that Hondo's not going to set the, but Khalifa vocalizes it. She's like, you're just gonna kill us anyway. Like, we're not giving you the crystals. And then Ahsoka has that kind of, like, you know, where the character kind of, like, closes their eyes, like, oh no, you just voiced aloud the quiet part. And Hondo just grins and ignites his weapon. And then Ahsoka pulls her lightsabers. And Khalifa maybe disarms a pirate and uses their weapon. Actually, maybe when that trap she just set, or when they knocked out the pirates with her lightsaber earlier, maybe she disarmed one of them then. That would actually be very smart. So she's been carrying that weapon around. I'm thinking like the scythe. Like, she has one of their scythes.
I've lived on this ship 1,000 years and never lost a fight. I'm not about to start today.
You probably would have gotten less hurt if you'd spent less time monologuing before starting to fight.
I'm just wondering, like, should we really have Jinx just, like, sit and twiddle his thumbs in that other room while all this is happening? I think he would join the fight. Maybe while Khalifa and Ahsoka are talking to Hondo, you see Jinx kind of sneaking up the corridor toward them, and then when Ahsoka ignites her lightsabers, he comes forward and ignites his.
We could do it that way, or we could do it, you know, the age-old, like, they're fighting and they seem to be doing okay, and then suddenly, like, the pirates get the upper hand and it's like, oh crap, and then he comes in and helps turn the tide back again. I always do like those kind of moments. Sometimes they're just kind of like eye roll, but, like, when you do them well, they're great.
Yeah.
And I think it would work in this case, because, yeah, like, I would probably have it, like you suggested, that, like, when Ahsoka tells Jinx, like, oh crap, Khalifa's out, then he's like, I'll go get her. And she's like, no, you stay put. And maybe he argues, like, and she just, nope, you stay put. But then it's not all that surprising when he doesn't stay put.
Had I known you were here, I would have simply asked for the crystals directly, and we could have avoided this.
I don't want to you, Hondo.
I wouldn't have that in there.
They've made it to the home.
Then what are you waiting for?
But what about you?
Do it!
So we wouldn't have that exchange either. We would just show the countdown ending, the pilot droid kind of, you know, straightening up and starting to boop, boop, bop, beep kind of thing. How would Ahsoka warn Jinx and Khalifa, though?
She would use her words.
Well, I guess it's like, again, it's like if she's suddenly shouting to them, like, you're gonna want to hold on to something, then the pirates are gonna be like, oh, okay, we need to hold on to something. Jinx would already know.
Yeah, Jinx already knows.
So then you could have Ahsoka tell Jinx, like, make sure Khalifa is safe.
Hey,
Maybe.
I just thought of something. Jinx and Khalifa were together a long time, I'm guessing, when they were on that Trandoshan moon. So maybe they developed
kind of a code?
Signals. Some, like, hand signals. So maybe
like
he signals to her. Like, maybe she looks a little confused, but she's like, yeah, okay, I trust you.
Yeah, you could even have, like, him say it, but, like, say it in code. I would maybe still have Ahsoka be like, you know, like, Jinx, make sure Khalifa is secure. Like, that's her way of kind of, like, in code telling him, like, you need to let her know. And then, yeah, he either signals her or uses some code words.
What are you doing?
Getting you off my ship. Make the jump to hyperspace.
Do we have Ahsoka kind of do that last bit herself, or are Jinx and Khalifa?
I would absolutely have Jinx and Khalifa helping her, like, route the pirates off the ship. And then when she gets accidentally sucked out, then, like, you see this look of shock on Khalifa and Jinx's faces, but they know, like, Jinx at least knows, they're about to jump into hyperspace. So he's like, Khalifa, close the door now.
No, you, because she closes the door and gets pushed out just as it's closing. So you wouldn't have to have them close the door. You'd have to have Jinx stop Khalifa from reopening it. You wrote down a suggestion that Khalifa's potentially about to get sucked off, and then Ahsoka saves her and gets caught instead. So that's another potential way it could happen.
We did it! They're off the ship!
Basically, the kids are all excited. They stream out of the hold. Yay, we did it! And then they see Khalifa and Jinx, who are both like, oh crap. And they're like, what's wrong? And then they're like, they got Ahsoka. And then you jump to, yeah, Ahsoka is among the pirates. We don't have Hondo be a total creep. There you go. Alright.
Perfect.
That's the episode.
So that was Season 5, Episode 7, A Test of Strength. We had Ahsoka, Khalifa, and Jinx rally their efforts to defend the younglings after a malfunction left them all stranded in pirate territory. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like, share with your friends, and consider subscribing so you don't miss future installments. As always, comment below, letting us know what you think of our rewrites and what you would do differently. We'd appreciate any support you are willing and able to offer via Super Thanks or on Patreon, where we have plenty of exclusive content waiting for you. Next up, we'll be tackling Season 5, Episode 8, Bound for Rescue, so be sure to join us for that. Okay, we should begin.
Yes, I am trying to. Okay, I got
Oh, you're trying to, are you? Well, you're not trying hard enough.
Well, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I would have Ahsoka be the one who checks the kid's lightsaber and is like, oops, nope, the only one you're gonna kill with this is yourself.
Well, she's not there.
Oh. This is what happens when we get interrupted by technical difficulties and then 2 days later pick up again.
Well, I mean, I did just say that.
You did? But, you know, if you didn't point that out, I would sound a little less dumb.
Are you getting Gnodi and Zat mixed up?
I hate all these kids and all their names.
Yeah, I basically got nothing. This is going great.
Writing is fun, isn't it?
Well, Actually, what I want to be doing is writing my own Star Wars story, not this. I keep looking at the this new logo for StreamYard here. It is absolutely adorable. And every once in a while it just gives a little nod.
Oh, it does! Okay, read your outro, woman. I've got stuff to do.
I will. So that was... I heard you make noise. So that was... You muting yourself distracted me. So that was season 5.
I'm trying!
Are you serious? You suck.
You did it on purpose! Okay, I am going to mute myself now, and you are going to do the outro.
Okay.